Okay, so this is today, 8 November here in Australia, 7 November in the USA, Pacific Daylight Time or Pacific Standard Time now with daylight saving. And this is the presentation for our members all around the world, for Bitcoin Trend and Forecast members. Bitcoin at the bottom on 15 December 2018, and you'll see that we had that nice little spike upwards. That was basically the low. And from that point forward, Bitcoin basically came all the way down from that $20,000 level right down to this level here. And as you may recall here, right at that point there, first of all, this was the American shutdown, that 40 days and 40 nights when Donald Trump sat in Noah's Ark, all alone at the White House. And then the market actually spiked upwards here. Now, at that point was the market could either break down completely or it could go up, and the market decided to go up. And the rest is history. We went totally upwards here to this point here, the high point of about 12 or 14,000, somewhere around there. And we now have this very big, I know the screen is messy, but just in general terms, that's a big bull flag forming there, and it's going to break out and potentially take us here to 15, 16,000. So I'm going to zoom in here just for new people who haven't seen this yet. In general terms, you can see that July is red. It had a down month, meaning that in the month of July that we hit a high point and the market went downwards. In the month of August, a green month, and that was an up month, meaning if you look at that low point there, is that we actually finished with a higher point here. In general terms, although it was a downtrend, you have although it's totally a downtrend in this yellow channel, we had a down month, a up month, down again, up again here in October. And remember this, we were here on a 53-day cycle, and here right at the top, we said that when we get to that top, the cycle is going to change, and we are now changing into a 31 to 32-day cycle. These are the cycles that will carry on, and then as we head up here, I believe we are changing into between an 18 and a 24-day cycle. This means that everything will contract, and we'll see large moves that will come in that space. Now, in general terms, what we can look at is if we go just to ascertain where the market is going to go, and we want to make things uncomplicated. If we take the bars pattern and we simply just take this pattern, now remember, it's not going to work exactly like this pattern. Some things are going to change. But if I put that there, it literally takes us to about 35,000, meaning that is actually where we are heading to. But remember, this will be a lot higher, a lot higher. And so we're going to see something similar like this, where this market is going to spike up here to 15, 16,000. And let me zoom in. And ultimately, it's going to take us here to this $90,000 level. Okay. So I want you to actually take, if you want, make some notes, take a picture, snap that. This is what we are going to look at long term in Bitcoin, not in altcoins. Altcoins are going to work a little bit different. Now, what I'm going to do is to zoom in here. Let's zoom in. I'm going to take this away, and we're quickly going to have a look and see where we are now. Now, remember this. Here, right at the bottom here, this is where we predicted the catapult event number 2. Now remember, there's going to be 3 catapult events. Catapult event 1 is done. Catapult event 2 is in the works now, and is going to catapult us up to very high numbers. Then we're going to have catapult number 3, which I predict will be the 1,000% move in altcoins. Bitcoin won't go 1,000%. Altcoins will, 1,000 plus. Now, I just want to make it clear, because many people say to me or ask me and they email us, and my whole staff has to deal with this, is this 100% rise, is this the 1,000% rise? No, guys, it's not. First, we saw this catapult event number 1. It's a small spike. We're now going to have a next spike. That spike is only going to be approximately 100%. You will see that your portfolio in average now will double in value. If you have $12,000, your portfolio will be worth $24,000. At that point, it's a great idea to limit exposure to cryptocurrencies, meaning sell a little bit of your cryptos, go into cash or USDT, and then you come back and buy it on the bottom. Here is what I predict what is going to happen. We believe that first of all is that we could have a bit of a downtrend, and we're going to get into this shortly and explain to you how we see that downwards movement. And let me just make this a little bit bigger here. So we first expect some form of a downwards trend here. Then look at this red line. We're then going to move upwards here, and I expect that we could hit about 15 to 16,000. Now, don't be disappointed if we only hit 12,300. What I'm trying to say and willing to say is that we are going to land in this box here of a very large figure between 12.3 and 15 or 16,000, somewhere there. A lot depends on how high Litecoin goes. Believe it or not, but Litecoin stops or moves the entire crypto market. How they do it is beyond my thinking, beyond my reasoning. I've researched it and I can't figure out how they do it. It's remarkable. Bitcoin is not the leading indicator. It's not the leader. It's not the main coin anymore. But nonetheless, guys, once we know what these people are doing, we can make some money. First of all, short term, downwards trend. Long term, we're going to break up. Long term, let's have a look at the date. Now, again, guys, you have seen that we predict the dates, and you've seen that sometimes the dates just don't work out. But what I see in my data is 3 days down. So you're going to look at, it started yesterday, Thursday. So we're going to have 1 day down, 2, 3, up till Sunday. Possibly Monday down as well, half of the Monday. Then 3 days up, 1, 2, 3. This somewhere next week, if I am right, from about Wednesday onwards, Wednesday, Thursday, could be the catapult number 2. That will take, if you thought this was a big breakout, this one here over a period of 2 days, 3 days, actually 2 days, 24 hours, 48 hours, this break here is going to be epic and a lot more bigger and larger. And remember, November, I've got green and red here. November is going to go up and November is going to go down. This is the change of the direction of all cryptos. We are going to go down, and think of this as a bouncing ball. The bouncing ball has to come down before it can go up. For the market to go up this high, this must drop down a little bit further. Now, that drop may be complete, and we'll get into that shortly now, where that low point is. But the point is, you can see that we're already coming down. I expected actually to come down lower, bouncing upwards and heading into this red box, and then come down to this blue box here. Now, I think that's all that I really wanted to say about Bitcoin. Let's quickly get into Litecoin here. One of the things that I want to mention here, if we look at Litecoin, I'm here on the day chart for Litecoin. If you look at this, let's just have a look here. This high point for Litecoin was about at that point there, and that was exactly about 148. And recall that we said in our blog posts that we expect $138 to be the high. Anything above 138 should be regarded as a bonus, and we said that it can go as high as 180, 189. And we headed up into about 148, and the market started dropping. Market came all the way down here to this level here that we predicted, about $50 Litecoin. And as you can see, it went sideways and dropped slightly a little bit lower to about $47 into that range there. And just that you know that on 26 September, we said that that is the low, the average low in all of cryptos. And some cryptos, 11% of cryptos around the world made it drop a little bit lower. Most did actually not do it, because if you go and you have a look at Ethereum, for example, let's just have a look at Ethereum. See here, Ethereum made a low here on 26 September, and that was the low. When Litecoin dropped lower here on 23 October, Ethereum did not drop lower. And there's a typical example of the 89% of coins that did not drop lower than the 26 September low. And let's just go back to Litecoin here. So Litecoin, our prediction is that on 26 September 2019, that most to all altcoins had a low and they will never ever come back again. We're heading upwards now. So upwards in the long-term trend now. Short-term, we are going to have a drop. Now, what you see here is a major trend reversal. And I'm quickly going to go through these three indicators, and then we're going to get to how big that drop is, and then we're going to get into what is going to happen next and how we see that happening. So let's go here to the 4-hour chart. And remember, this is the major trend reversal. First of all, the market dropped here downwards into this box or block here, which we call A and B, which is a fractal of each other. Now, this, in a sense, is actually a bearish pennant. You can see there that it says bearish pennant, and we predicted this flash drop here. So the market came down, spiked up to 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of this market breaking down. Now remember this, most of you know, a bearish pennant is where the market breaks down. Everybody knows it. But look at this, the market did not break down. The market went out and break out upwards, a very good sign. And so the market broke up, and then we had this little bit of a flash drop here, creating another bearish pennant. Okay, what happened with this bearish pennant? It also did not break down. It tried to break down here at 0.5, but it went up and then had a bit of a drop, which was a good sign, believe it or not. But the point is, it didn't break downwards. From this point onwards, it created a rising wedge. Okay, so have a look at that. That is your rising wedge. That rising wedge is where the catapult event number 1 started. Remember the one that we predicted and we said is going to be unexpected. Nobody's going to expect this, and it's going to break out to about $63. And look at that, guys. It just hit our target there of about 63.9. We were about 90 cents short. What we then expected was that the market would create a symmetrical triangle. This is the symmetrical triangle that you see here. And now a symmetrical triangle is the only indicator really in algorithm data that gives you two ideas, 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance that the market's going to either break down or break up. In this case, because of momentum going upwards the whole time, we are now finding ourselves here right there at the top. And at this top here, what has happened is that we have created a rising wedge. So now we see this rising wedge there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 moves. And then this is where this drop comes in. This is similar to Bitcoin Cash. Let me go back to Bitcoin Cash on the 12-hour. I'm just going to make this a little bit darker. Or more thicker line. Now here you'll be able to see that we have this rising wedge. Now remember this, Bitcoin Cash created a high point there, then dropped, and a few days later went to this high point here. Whereas if you look at Bitcoin went straight up and it created this high point here within about 24 to 48 hours. Right there, that point there. Came down, created a symmetrical triangle, but then Bitcoin Cash created this rising wedge. What happens with rising wedges, Wendy? Just close. Thanks. What happens with rising wedges is that you normally have a bit of a drop. Rising wedges always drops. So we expect, okay, one of the main things now is how low are we going to drop? And this is where we're going to get into. Now, let me just quickly have a look. I just want to bring something up here quickly. So So just give me a second. I will bring my screen over shortly. Now, if you look at blog post number 135, the overall crypto update, if you scroll downwards here a little bit, you'll see that, let me just see where that is. Sure, that's update 1. By the way, guys, we just follow blog post number 135 up till we have this catalyst event that is called Catapult number 2. At Catapult number 2, we will create a brand new blog post number 136. So for the time being, we just follow this one and we'll have multiple updates here. It's just nice and easy to see all the data. You can read it really easy. Now from here, let me just see, where is that? Okay, here on 25 October 2019, what we said is that we are expecting a minor flash drop or a tremor or a signal. We just call it a tantrum drop to occur just before we head higher. And this is exactly now where we are. We are right there at that point. And remember what we said is, we said that we are going to break upwards here. That will be the catapult event. We expect it to come down here to 53.954. That drop didn't happen. So we didn't come down. We only came down to about, I think about 58, 59, somewhere around there. The market then went up to this high point here, and we predicted that point to be about $65, and we only headed into $64 and about 20 cents. So about 80 cents short of that predicted high point there. And see this drop here, that pink line there, that is where we are now. That is the drop that we are in now, this drop here. So there was the target high that we predicted of 65. And you can just go to this blog post here and just have a look at that. I'll just try and make it a little bit bigger. There we are, about $65.266. And as I say, we only hit about 64 something. What's going to happen is this pink line, just follow my mouse. We're going to drop down into this level here. How low are we going to drop? We're going to get into this. I expect between 54 and about as low as 49, somewhere there. Then we're going to turn around, go up, and the big catapult event number 2 is going to happen here. It's going to catch everybody off guard, because what you see here, remember that big catapult event there? This thing is going to be way bigger. So for the time being, any new members, we simply follow this blog post. There's another explanation. Now remember this, we get time expansion. As I say, we don't follow the dates anymore. Since about probably 2.5 months ago, we came out and said the dates are totally wrong. We have a time expansion here. Everything is moving slower. So slow, it's unbelievable. 4 hours in a normal chart is now 20 hours. That's crazy. But it doesn't matter, guys. We look at the profit over a period of time. The profit will still be there. It'll just take us a little bit longer to get there. Now, remember this. Okay, we're in this cycle here now. And that's the same chart. And then the last blog post is the one that I posted yesterday, is blog post number 17, where we said the light pullback for the short term. We continue to expect a sudden pullback, a drop, or even a flash drop in Litecoin. We look at it between a range of $54, 49 the lowest. And after that drop, when that drop is complete, wherever that low point is, and we're going to get into that shortly, we're going to head up to 107 to 120. And okay, so let's get into Litecoin quickly now. Now remember this, we on the bottom here of Litecoin, we've got a major trend reversal in the entire crypto world. We will not come way down and break downwards. I see there's multiple people that have sent me videos showing how the market is going to break down. And I don't see that happening, guys. We don't see that. It's going to make a turnaround. And now this is the thing. Yesterday, we went through some data, algorithm data. We wanted to have a look and see, is there a specific coin that is ahead of Litecoin? Remember, I've been saying that Litecoin is the leading indicator or the main leader in all of cryptos. If Litecoin goes up, all cryptos go up. If Litecoin drops, all cryptos drop. If Litecoin stands still, everything stands still. I wanted to see if there was a coin that is ahead of Litecoin, and we found it. We actually found this one, NEO. Now, NEO, believe it or not, is ahead of Litecoin. And the reason I wanted to have a look at NEO or this specific coin was if we can find a coin that is ahead of Litecoin in terms of price action, we know where the market is going to go. So look at NEO. NEO had a very nice spike upwards here. And remember, it came up to this level here of about $13, and everybody thought it's going to go higher. And so many people bought. You can see all the volume here. If I actually click on that, you can see the volume was astonishing here. Never ever buy the spike. You don't want to buy the spike. You want to buy at the low point, always the low point. You don't want to buy the spike, never buy the spike. In any case, NEO created something which we call a symmetrical triangle. Now, there are 2 points here that are very important that I want you to think about. This point here is where the market is right at that point there. That's going to be a significant point in identifying the low point. The second point is this point here. If we take NEO and we go more or less in the middle of that symmetrical triangle, and we put that line in there, and we say, right, that is the line, the center line. If we then go and we just draw a normal A, B, C, D, E line, then we say that this low point could be around about 10, just by averages now, but the lowest algorithm point is this point here. Now, if we go back to Bitcoin, I'm going to show you exactly where that point is as well. In Bitcoin, that point is there. See that blue line there? And that blue line is that line of 8,600. Now, this is why I say that in the previous blog post that we updated is that I am placing my orders in Bitcoin between 8.8 and 8.6, somewhere in this block. That is where the low point is going to be. So that point there, very important to note that that could potentially be the low point if Bitcoin drops right into that point there. Now let's go back to NEO. Now we are going to have a look at Litecoin. So NEO had this A, remember this A, the B, the upwards, the downtrend, and then the D. It's just completing the D now and heading into E. Now that C is exactly at that blue line, that center line for the symmetrical triangle. So let's go back to Litecoin and have a look at this. And I put that blue line in there. See, there it is, right in the center. If I draw in here what happened with NEO, then there we are. So we expect a downwards move, something like that. We're going to see an upwards move. We're going to see a downwards move. This is now where NEO is right at the moment. Remember that D, NEO is there. Let's go back to NEO. See there? There's your D. May go slightly higher. Okay, so there's your D, and it must complete the fifth leg down into E. And we'll watch and see if that happens. Because what could happen is that the market could break upwards and go back up. If that happens, that will be the sign, and NEO will show it to us. We'll show it first, and then we know that's the sign to get back into the market. So let's go back to Litecoin, where we are. So if this is the case, is that Litecoin still has to head back into this A point here, B, C, D, and then finish with a E point. Now, I know from a technical perspective, it looks impossible that Litecoin literally can break down to this level here of $54, $53. It really looks impossible. But I'm just showing you what I see in my algorithm data. Now, what I've done, I have created the top 3 most likely scenarios that could play out in Litecoin. And what I've done, I've marked them as a blue, red, and green. So we copied this over from other data that we have. This is kind of like our algorithm patterns that we expect could play out. The first one is this blue one here. It could happen that the drop looks something similar like this, and that we are going to get resistance here at this purple line, and then a bit of a drop downwards into this level, and the third flash drop between this level here of 54 and basically 49. If this does not play out, it could be similar to this red one, something similar to that, which gives us almost the same results. We have a drop down, a bit of resistance, and a drop. The last one that we believe that could potentially happen is something similar like this, a little bit different, where we have a flash drop, and if it happens, it must happen today, where we have a bit of a flash drop, a bit of consolidation here on the bottom, and then a trend reversal with the market then going upwards. Whether we look at these three patterns, whether each one of them is going to form, we don't really know which one. But what I can say is that in our data, we see a downtrend into a level between 54 and 49. Then we're going to see an uptrend back up. Now this point here will not be higher than that highest point. Now let me just move this aside here. So the market is not necessarily, if the market turns around, it's not necessarily going to break out, just violently break out. What's going to happen if it does break out is that we are going to see that high point, that we will have resistance there. The market will then come down, and then we're going to have the breakout. So you will have an option to get back into the market here at approximately this level of about $64, $65. If the market turns back upwards here, that is a sign that if you look at NEO as well, if NEO starts breaking out here and goes up, that's a sign that we are not going to come back. Now, what I've done is I'm going to have to go back to this chart here, this Litecoin chart, the day chart. And remember, I'm here on the day chart. I'm going to show you where is the turn point. Let me just make it bigger here. If Litecoin, you can see here, we've got this big red candle. Now remember, I'm expecting that candle to come to this, almost about this purple line here, about 53, 55, 53, maybe a little bit lower, in that range, okay, in that range. If it doesn't happen and the market starts turning upwards, here is your last line of defense. If Litecoin breaks 69.39, that level there, it will not come back. It's going to go and break all these indicators. Remember, we've been talking about this weeks and weeks ago, where we said that it's going to break this indicator, every single indicator, and catch every single analyst off guard. Nobody can see that, but we see this in our data. How would it look like? We believe that here on the bottom is where the count starts for the Elliott wave. Now, this is the problem with Elliott wave. Where do you start? Okay, that's always the big problem. But if we say that this is the low point, and remember, most altcoins didn't hit a low, because if you look at Ethereum, where is the low in Ethereum? It's not there where Litecoin is. The low is there. So then it makes your count completely different again. But in Litecoin, let's have a look at Litecoin. If this is correct, this will be your low. This will be your number one leg. A very big, remember the catapult event, a very big event, that's your number one. If this happens, we could see number two either there, could be there, or it could be lower. I'm expecting the market to drop a little bit more. But nonetheless, whether we drop there or not, we've always said, remember, the best strategy that you have is to hold, because we want to sell you on the top. We expect the markets to break out upwards here. Just follow my mouse there. And we expect the markets to head into this box here, box C. Now, when we head into this box, we're probably going to hit about 107. We're going to come down slightly, and then we're going to head up again into that level there, which will be a high point. This point here is going to be a bearish rising wedge from the data that we review. All our algorithm data points to a bearish rising wedge, meaning that when we get to that top there, is that the market is basically going to break down. See that red arrow? It normally breaks down. Similar to what we have here. See that there is also similar to a bearish rising wedge, because if you go to Bitcoin Cash, you can see the bearish rising wedge very clearly, very clearly. And you can see here that Bitcoin Cash dropped below this line here. In general terms, what should happen is, although this is a green candle there, that green candle there, the market should actually break down further. Now, how low does it normally go? Just in general terms, let's just dumb it down and make it really easy for everybody to understand. If you take it from the bottom here, right to that point there, okay, that normally is the distance that you can argue and say that it breaks down. So we should see a breakdown into this level here, or these two figures that I have here for Bitcoin Cash, 265, 258, it can come down as low as 240. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let's go back to Litecoin again. So nonetheless, what I see in Litecoin is a breakout here, bearish wedge. We can have a drop, have a big ABC correction, and we're going to come back into this level here of between 78 and probably about 69, somewhere around that box. So that in short term is where we see Litecoin. Now remember what I said here about this drop. We are keeping an eye on this drop. What I really want to see, and remember this may just happen very, very slow, is that we still expect a drop down from that high point here into A, B, C, D, E. And that is the low point then for Bitcoin. Now, remember, I'm on the 30-minute chart. I normally don't do 30-minute charts. But if we look at this, this may even actually be perhaps the low here, because you have got your 5 waves. And let's just quickly put that in there. That could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that may have finished. Then we'll get an ABC correction. So it should, if we see a bit of a drop there now, that will be a good sign, because that means that this B could perhaps be completed there, and this C will happen a little bit earlier. Something similar like that, perhaps. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. I think we shall quickly go through EOS. EOS is similar. Sorry, I didn't actually explain this one here. From the data that we have, if we go back to Bitcoin, see here that we see approximately about a 18%. So we see an 18%. Okay, so we see about an 18% drop. If we look at Litecoin, where was that? In Litecoin, we see from the top about a 16% drop there. And then if we go to EOS, we see approximately a drop of about, where did I put that in? Sorry, I may have removed it. But that drop, if we do look at this drop from that high point, and we take a 16% drop, then it gives us this figure here of $3.10. I have basically placed my orders here at $3.10. And just look at this. Remember, we're on the 12-hour chart. Again, that point there could be the low point. Let me just put that in. Remember what I said earlier, that's a very significant time point. It could land between this. As I say, I've placed my orders personally at $3.10. BNB, do not be surprised if BNB drops down to this level here of $17. Right at this MS52, that green line, it may be a little bit higher to about $18.20. But look at this, guys. Between this green line and that brown line, that is a good point actually to get back in the market if BNB drops below that point. So that's a good time to enter the market. As a matter of fact, also what's really important here, the MS52 have crossed the green MS the MS22, this one has crossed the MS52. That's a great sign. It's a great sign to get back in the market. It means that we're going to see a lot more upside on the daily. Let's go to the world stock markets again, hit an all-time high. We expect it to go slightly higher. And somewhere here in December, January, we are going to have some form of a drop or a pullback. It won't be a big crash, simply something like this, just a pullback. And ultimately, we are heading up to 30 or 40,000 Dow. Okay, so that's still good. With Theta, Theta is not a buy yet. Remember, we sold here on the top. We recommended exactly there at the top that we got out of Theta. The market went all the way down. It's not a buy yet. I expect that it could go a little bit lower. But Theta is something that you can get into on the next drop in the next 2 or 3 days. DigiByte. Now, with regard to DigiByte, remember that we've always said that Ethereum is the first coin that's going to show the signs of the breakout, the 1000% breakout. Then we're going to see Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, DigiByte. If you have not bought DigiByte yet, you don't need to buy DigiByte. Remember, in my case, I've already bought DigiByte. I'm holding my DigiByte regardless because I know what's coming over the next 30, 60, and 90 days. It's a big uptrend. But if you have small amounts of money, a smaller portfolio, what you may want to do is not really put your money into DigiByte yet, because DigiByte is not going to move as fast as all the other coins at this moment. You can see here that we said this is a buy opportunity at Blue Box. We said again here that this is a buy opportunity. We may see a bit of a drop, a little bit lower. But your best strategy is really just to basically put your money in XRP, because XRP, although we see a drop in XRP of about 22 cents, maybe 23 cents, that's when I'll buy a lot of XRP.
Very important.
I lost your voice.
Marius, your mic is muted.
Oh, there we go.
It's muted again, Marius.
Who keeps muting?
Your mic keeps muting.
Yeah, somebody is doing that. Yeah, okay, so so what we will see here is that we will see a uptrend, basically, hopefully hitting about 157% gains. So this will truly, XRP, in my opinion, could outperform Bitcoin. And remember, if we go back to Bitcoin, we expect Bitcoin to go up to our target of, let me just have a look here. Our target of 15 to 16, which is only about an 84% gain. If we take it from that low point there, that's about 86%, between 80, 86. It's still substantial. Remember, this move here will be epic if this happens. So that's in short what we see in the crypto world at this moment. Let's go through questions and we can just answer them all. I don't know, Bill, TG, does this information make sense?
Yes, but Marius, can you do me a favor?
Fits my logic. Thanks, Marius.
You were muted during your XRP presentation. Would you mind going back over XRP again?
Yeah, sure. With regard to XRP, I expect XRP to drop into this level here of about 22 cents, maybe 23 cents. And at this point here, if we drop into this level here, 22, 23, I'm going to buy a stack load of XRP. If it doesn't hit that level, I'm really hoping that it would, because I see a little bit more downside here. Maybe just touching that 24, I'll still buy. But there's going to become some form of a drop here. if Litecoin drops, because remember this, if Litecoin drops into this level here of 54, it's going to bring XRP down as well. Now, a lot of people think that that XRP had a dump yesterday. It's not really a dump. You know, the volume wasn't really removed, and it's not because of the volume really that it dumped. It's really because of the fear in the market, the fear in Litecoin, the fear in Bitcoin, and then suddenly XRP started dumping as well. But you could see a bit of more downside here. But ultimately, what we see in XRP is that XRP is going to go up to this level here of probably 59 to 60 cents. 60 cents being the psychological number where people will start selling. But to see the high point for XRP, we need to have a look at Litecoin. Whenever Litecoin hits this target here in this box, 107 to 119, that is when we need to have a look at XRP and say, wherever XRP at that point is, we need to limit exposure. This chart here that we are looking at is probably the most important chart, just this snapshot here. If we can focus on that, maybe have a bit of a lower drop here. If that low drop happens, that we get into the 54 range, it will be really good, because look at it as a bouncing ball. We must go down to have this big breakout. You know, to break all these indicators here, it's not going to be easy. But if it does that, then we far away, and then that will complete the heartbeat. At this level here, guys, we are basically 2 months behind. This should have happened about 2 months ago. It just shows you how slow the crypto world is moving. But at the top here, I expect that we will have a bearish rising wedge, a bit of a drop, a ABC correction back into this. And this is, if this happens, it will be one of the world's best farming opportunities, where we sell here, limit our exposure here. We come back here and we start buying back here. And this could happen in all of cryptos. Remember this, all of cryptos. You imagine selling all your XRP at that high point there, literally everything. And again, we don't want this video to come out to everybody all around the world. We don't want everybody in the world to do it. If everybody sells the XRP, who's going to buy it? You know, so keep it quiet. You just simply do your own thing back at your home. You don't tell people what you do. You come to that point, you sell 30, 40, 50, 100%, whatever you feel comfortable with, and you come back and you buy it on the bottom. We do believe, and remember, it's always difficult to predict anything in the future. This is why we at Bitcoin Trend and Forecast do what we do, because not many people can do these things, and not many people want to put their head on a block. It's like, for example, with this catapult event, you know, we were the only people really in the world that put our head on a block and said that there's a catapult event that's going to happen. And you saw it happen 2 weeks ago. Over 48 hours, the market just simply spiked upwards. Now, we're going to have a similar event here. As a matter of fact, let me just quickly talk about the 1,000% gains too, guys. The 1,000% gains is coming. Now, one guy asked me in an email, he said, is this rise now, is this the 1,000% gain? I said, no, it's not. What happens here is, and let me maybe do a visual here. I'm going to take an arrow. This spike here, okay, was catapult number 1. And let me just make it clear. So let me put that in there. I'm just going to say cat 1, cat number 1. Okay, so that stands for catapult number 1, and we'll just make it a nice bold and make it 24. So this one here is cat 1. The second spike is this one. This is the one that we talk about. See that red one there? Let's just move that maybe there so we can see it a little bit clear. This one here is catapult number 2. This is the one that we talk about. This is the catapult number 2 spike. Okay, it will be literally like a catapult, like what we saw here, catapult 1, catapult 2. Now, look at this, guys. At this point here, we drop downwards. Let me put that arrow in. We drop downwards, okay? What happens here at that big catapult? We're going to drop downwards again. Now remember, we dropped downwards, we went sideways a little bit. Here we're going to go. We're going to go sideways a bit. Now this sideways move is the one that I said a few weeks ago. When we have this spike, we could easily go on for 90 days. Remember that? 3 months. So be prepared for that. Don't get emotionally distraught. Don't get, I call it a fear, anxiety, and depression fad. Don't get it. Don't become fearful, anxiety, and depressed, because we could go sideways for a very long time here. Okay, I don't see it, but who knows? I mean, to get to this heartbeat, we've been going sideways for 64 days, more than expected, more than what any algorithm data says. And remember, our algorithm data looks at the past 10 years history, and it gives us the average. We are 62 days over the average. It's unheard of. It's unbelievable, you know. But anyway, now it could be that we have a speed up. So we don't know. We just have to wait and see. A speed up meaning that we can come to this point here, and it could be very quick where this actually moves. But let's forget about that for the time being. I'm just going to show you the pattern. Remember catapult 1, catapult 2. This next catapult, this one here, is going to be not in Bitcoin, but in altcoins. This one here is going to be bigger than this one, bigger than this one, bigger than this. Is going to be huge. Now, let me just clone that and put this in here. And I hope everybody understands the 3 catapult events that is going to happen. Now, this catapult event here is the one that takes us to the, and I just want to make a comment about this as well. This is going to take us to the plus 1,000% gain over weeks or months. Okay, I'm going to put that in there because I get so many emails where people ask me, is that going to spike 1,000% in one day? No, guys, it won't do that. You know, there are coins that do it. Like I think Mike sent me information about a coin that went 1,200% in one day, just now in this week. So you can do it, but look, the top 5 coins that we follow, like Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, those top 5, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, they're going to go up a plus 1,000%. Now, one coin, for example, Digibyte, we predict will go up almost 43,000%. It doesn't do it in one day. It goes over a period of weeks, over months. All I mean with that is that we're going to have a massive uptrend. Now, remember this, guys, nobody else in the world is seeing this. We are coming out with this data. You're going to see once we get to this point, everybody will start talking about a big spike is coming. But I'm telling you this in advance. It's just like nobody's talking about this big breakout that's coming here. Everybody's talking that that this is going to come down slightly, and what's then going to happen is that we're going to head up higher here, and they talk about these 3 waves: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But be very careful. Here in our data, we see a fake breakout. Okay, be very careful of that. So let me just clear my screen up here. So this is the events that we see in altcoins. Bitcoin is a little bit different. Bitcoin comes down, and then Bitcoin goes here to about 19,000. Let's go back to Bitcoin. And I think I showed that, yeah, there we go. It goes to about 19,666. At that point here, we have a bit of resistance. It comes down, and then it attempts to break the $21,000 level twice. And the third time, it breaks through. And then Bitcoin never comes back. It goes to about 80 or 90,000 over a period of time. And the end of the year cycle, many people have sent me emails and asked me that, when is the end of year cycle? The end of year cycle for the third leg, remember what I said last time? let me just go back here. I'm gonna just do this again. I think we had it in last week's webinar as well. I'm just reloading the Bitcoin chart. I'm just gonna clear everything off there. Okay, so we move everything there. We're gonna go here to the, and this is just for the people who haven't seen it yet. Let's just go through that again. And so I really want people to understand what's happening here. Okay, you can see that here is 20,000 right at that top. There's that low. And we were now in this leg upwards. And if you go back to previous videos that we did, you'll see that we were talking about exactly what I'm talking about now. Guys, look, the crypto world is not difficult to understand. But you know where a lot of people fall flat is they get fear, anxiety, depression, and number one, they can't be patient. Wendy and I, a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, we were heavily in debt, heavy in debt. I had a great job. Wendy was business operations manager for a very large company in Australia. We all made good money, but we had debt like you can't believe coming out of our ears, credit cards, cars, because we wanted to drive the fancy cars, live in a fancy home. But little did we know that we're on a treadmill. So you have to go to work every day. You work, you come back, tomorrow you have to go back to work again. Thank God for weekends, I can rest. Monday, oh, I have to go to work again, Blue Monday. Okay, up till we found cryptos. Got into cryptos. Very quickly, I realized that I need to be patient in cryptos. We have been working cryptos day in and day out, and we put every single effort into cryptos and we became financially free. You can do it too. But one thing that I've learned, I just need to be patient, because even if the market drops, it's going to come back again, and I'm going to make that money back again. I'm not going to sell. If I make a loss, I keep it. You know, if it's a big loss, I don't mind. I'm going to keep it because the market will return back again. And thank goodness, you know, my algorithm that I developed in the oil and gas industry, for some reason, it just points to very good results that we can identify the trend. The trend is something that I can identify. We can't do day trading. Day trading in our algorithm doesn't work. And as a matter of fact, I've spoken to the world's top day traders. You know, these guys are number one, they are so smart. They've got an IQ of 160, 170 plus. Okay, I haven't got that. Not many people have. The second thing is that these guys have got 20 or 30 years of experience. You may think that 3 years of experience in day trading is enough. Trust me, I've been going on this now for 4 years, and I'm going like, whoa, it's unbelievable. I get caught out every single time day trading. It's not that easy. For some reason, Wendy does it really well. She's very good at day trading. I'm not. Maybe she's got a higher IQ. I don't think we should go and test it. Yeah, we'll just keep it like that. But day trading, what I'm trying to say is that 1% of people are successful in day trading. So you really need to know what you do. But in terms of identifying the trend, it's no difficult task. Here on the bottom, that was the bottom. That's your top. There's your bottom of your second leg. What I see in our data is that this one here, this third leg, potentially could go up here. Okay, I don't really like the word potentially. What I see in my data distinctively is a $90,000 target. We then drop, and then we go up here to, I think it was about I can't remember exactly now, don't hold me to it, but about 350. There is a video that we've done. And then what happens is we have an extended leg. I just found this out about 3 weeks ago. We have a drop there, and then we have an extended leg up here, and I can't remember how high this goes. But anyway, this figures may be a little bit wrong, but as I say, I didn't prepare for this today. But this target here is going to be about 90,000, somewhere around there. And the high point could be either here, That high point could either be there 350 or it could be there at 350. I don't know. I don't know yet. But this is the end of the year cycle. Now, what I see in my data is that this point here, where we hit the high point, is October next year. There. October next year is when we hit the high point. And you're going to see the world stock markets drop as well. You're going to see gold drop. To the surprise of a lot of people, gold is going to drop as well. The world stock markets normally drop and then gold goes up, but we see gold dropping there. So that point there is still in October, the high point. Now think about this now, guys. From this point here, right up to that point there, between leg 2 and 3, have a look at this. The gains are astronomical. This is, let me just move that. Okay, I'll sort that out shortly. More or less, okay, I'm just going to be more or less. This was about 1,000% gain, only in Bitcoin. Guys, my feet are tingling with what I see. After Bitcoin hits about this level here of about 19,000, you don't want to be in Bitcoin anymore. Okay, now you're going to see Litecoin go up a lot more than Bitcoin. You're going to see XRP outperform Bitcoin like you can't believe. This 1,000% gain in Bitcoin is going to be small. You're going to see XRP go up astronomical. And as I say, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, those top 5 coins, I've done another analysis on them. And the more I do it, the more convinced I get. Remember I said there are 2 other coins as well. I've removed them because the more I do analysis on them, working on them, the more I realize that the top 5 is where we need to be. Now, the other coins are like RDD. Remember, RDD is basically like a light version of Litecoin. So actually kind of like they took Litecoin and just duplicated it. But you can also have some nice rises in there. But you don't want to invest in 20 cryptos. You want to invest in a handful of cryptos so that you can sell them, because the liquidity is the big thing here. Remember, guys, if you look at Bitcoin Cash, you cannot sell any more than 500 Bitcoin Cash at any given time. You can sell multiple orders of that, but the exchange nowhere in the world will allow you to sell more than 500 Bitcoin Cash. You can't sell more than 5,000 Litecoin. Remember, when you get now to the other coins, ARK, Storm, XVG, they've got big liquidity issues. You place your order, nobody's going to buy them. And what I see is that more and more people are heading into the top 5 coins. People are starting to catch on to it. Anyway, let's open for quick questions here, guys, and I don't want to hold everybody here too long.
What did you think of today's Tezos pump going to about $1.80?
Yeah, number one, that's great, for Tezos, guys. Yeah, I know, TG, that you are a big fan of Tezos, are you not?
Yeah, I do like Tezos. I like a few coins out there, Marius, you know that. Yeah, I've got some Tezos. I'd like to have more, but it is what it is. Same with Ripple, really. But no, it was interesting to see it pump up to $1.80-ish and come down. I think it done quite well on the daily candle today. But,
yeah, it's done well. Yeah, expect a bit of a drop, but, ultimately Tezos is going to tear the market apart, so the only reason that I don't want to put it in the top 5 coins is just the liquidity issues again with Tezos. But nonetheless, I mean, you can't trade 20 million of that. But if you trade 100,000, that's fine. But more, if once you start getting to 200, 300, 500,000, you really want to move that money into other coins. Guys, regardless if a coin is going to make a 60,000% gain, it doesn't matter, because when you get to that high point, you can't sell it, you can't take your profit. Remember this, many people got caught in December of 2018 or 17. They couldn't sell their cryptos. But the people in Ethereum and the big coins, they could sell it. Liquidity, remember that. But I see no problem with holding Tezos smaller amounts in your wallet, you know. And remember, as the market cap increase, obviously the amount that you can invest in Tezos increase too. Like today may be 100,000. When the market cap increase from 300 to 500 to 1 trillion, obviously that will increase as well.
No, thanks, Marius. I'm not sorry to ask again, but any thoughts on what you think might happen with the UK election? Who might come out on that one? But if not, don't worry.
No, not at all. But with regard to Brexit, we know there's a deep state now, because they came out and said there is a deep state. You know, all these people that screamed conspiracy theories for 20 years are now proven right. So the deep state will try and stop Brexit. That's just the only comment that I have on that.
Thank you, Marius. Much appreciated.
What's the other questions here?
Marius, hi, it's Shamsa.
Hi, Shamsa.
Marius, how low do you see gold dropping? You said it's going to drop.
Okay, first of all, we need to figure out how high gold will go. Now, we see gold, I just haven't got the chart here and I didn't do any analysis on gold, but I believe that we are going to break the $2,400 mark on gold going into October. When the presidential election starts running, here from July in America. So you're going to have an uptrend in the world stock markets like we have never seen before. You know, it's just going to go and go and go. Gold is going to go up. Cryptos will go up. Everything will go up. And then the world stock markets, because of the win of this specific person or entity that's going to run, the world stock markets are going to drop. But then gold surprisingly drops as well. And we believe that it could be a retracement of about 14%. Now remember, the 14% comes up over and over again. Can you see here on my screen with this? At this point, about a week or 2 weeks ago, we came out and we said that we see the stock market rising 13.79%, about 14%, I think. And you can see that we are up almost about that 2 or 3%. It's going to go a lot higher, ultimately, very quickly. As a matter of fact, this should actually be before that. The drop in price could even happen there. See there? So that's going to go 13 or 14%, and we see then that gold will drop about that 14% as well. How deep the stock market will crash is something that we just don't know yet, but we believe also about between 14 and maybe 18%. That's how much the stock market is going to be pulling back. But remember, that's going to be from a higher level, because you're going to look at possibly a Dow 30 or 35,000. So a drop there is going to be trillions and trillions of dollars. It's literally going to shock gold. It's going to shock silver, and everything will drop, and the crypto markets will drop as well. So I'm just, we don't exactly know what the future will look like, but I'm just saying this is what we see so far. And a lot of these things are, I don't want to use the word vague because we see the data and the data is objective. But to give exact points of what will happen in the future, once we get closer and closer, the data becomes more reliable.
Thank you. Thank you.
But Shamsa, what is good about this is that we know what to look for. More important, I want to get our members out. I want to look at that number 3 high point, more or less at 90,000. Now, mark my words, what's going to happen here, okay? We are coming out now and we are saying 90,000. I've been saying 90,000 since the beginning of the year. Most people now are going to start talking about the 90,000 high point. Guess what's going to happen? These people that manipulate Bitcoin and cryptos, they're going to get word of this. And you know what they're going to do? They could drop it earlier, maybe 67. They'll drag it out. But we know that that high point is going to be at the presidential election in that week or in that 3 weeks. So this is why I also ask everybody, keep our data really confidential. You know, we don't want our data to go out. We don't want anybody to talk about the $90,000 high point yet. I've been really trying to avoid it and not really post anything out about it or say anything or do videos like this. But you know, I have to show you guys at least something where we're heading to. But what I have found is that, okay, let's have a look at this one, for example, here. And this for me is one of the scary parts as well. Remember here at this point here, this was 6 August 2020. We were talking about that breakout there. That was the breakout. And I was really adamant about it. That is the breakout. Let's go back here again. See that one there, the 6 August. And according to our data, that was going to happen. I still look at past data and that should still be the breakout. Now, the market exactly at that point there went and broke downwards. And I believe we've been talking too much about it. I'm not saying that is the reason. I'm not saying that's the reason, but I want to avoid things like that where things come out. So just keep everything quiet. As a matter of fact, we've been going sideways here way too long, 60 days too long. But nonetheless, guys, look at this. This is where we are now. We are there. Hopefully we'll get that bit of a drop here, and then we can have that spike upwards. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
Mary, hi. Hello, it's Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regarding that, I asked you last week about silver, and can you see, like, since we're getting close, the chances of that going by the end of the year up to 100? I mean, is it 10%? Is it 50%? 90%? And also, do they actually lose control, or do they manipulate it up?
Are you talking about silver?
Yeah, silver.
Are you asking, did they lose control, or?
Yeah, did they actually, if it goes up to 100, like the algorithm showing, do they actually lose control of the manipulation, or are they the ones that make it go up to 100?
Oh, you mean if they are going to lose control? Okay, yeah. With regard to silver, we still see in our data that at some time point, that we get a big spike upwards in silver, reaching about $99 to $100. Now, I don't know what that percentage is, but I think what is silver now? $20 maybe? 17, 18,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's about 17.
Yeah.
1750.
Now, if that happens, I'm not saying it is, but I see it in our data. If that happens, I'll be selling every single thing. Every single ounce of silver that I hold, I'll drag it all. It's going to be heavy, but I'll sell it. Here in Brisbane, Australia, there's companies that buy it, and I'll buy back on the low because it goes up and then it drops again. It's kind of like just a big spike.
And can you see, what the chances of that? Is it 10%, 50%, 90%?
Oh, the chance for that. I can have a look and get back next week.
Okay.
But probabilities for those are very low, but I like to keep it in mind because we look at that. If it happens, you want to sell. You don't want to get caught when you never thought about something and then it happens. Exactly like Litecoin, for example, and let me reiterate that again, guys. If you look at Litecoin, where are we now? Yeah. Remember what we said about Litecoin. If the market with Litecoin can easily turn back upwards, easy. If it does, our strategy should be your last line of buying back into Litecoin, not to miss the catch of the catapult number 2, is 69.394. But we are expecting to get down to 54, 53. Now, I have my orders placed from 54 to about 49. Now, if some of my orders don't get filled, I'll simply just start buying back if we go back and we hit this high again. So let me just put this on the 12-hour perhaps. We'll get back to silver shortly. See here, this is actually beautiful. This double top that I actually made on the 12 hour. When I saw that, I was really happy because I was looking for that in my algorithm data. See that double top there? If this market here goes back up, and I don't believe that this can happen, but let's say if it does go back up and it goes up like this, if it breaks this line here, let's say with, that's about 64.4. If this goes to 65.4, $1, I'm buying back with everything. I'm canceling every single order on the bottom and I'm back in the market, because that then means that we're going to go up. And then my other line that I'm looking at is, like I said, that X2 line on the 12-hour chart. Sorry, on the day chart.
I have another question.
I'll be done shortly. See that line there, the 69 point, whatever that is. So you simply start buying back very quickly. Now, let's just go back to the 12-hour. So with silver as well, keep that in mind that it can potentially happen. You want to take your silver, then take it in, sell it, get your cash. You wait till it drops back to 2023. I think it comes down to 23 again and stays there. You want to go back and just increase. You can literally double or triple your silver stash. And remember, it's more important to hold silver than gold. Believe it or not. But you can still hold a small percentage of gold, nothing wrong with that. But silver in the future outperforms gold by far. Because in the future, you don't want to hold all your profits of your cryptos in cryptos. You don't. You don't want to put it in fiat either. Because all around the world from next year onwards, we are all going to get charged to have any cash in the bank. Believe it or not. They're going to charge you 1%, 2%, or 3%. Here in Australia, it's set to go live in February next year. And remember, it's going to be a coordinated attack on the world population all around the world. Guess what, guys? Australia, New Zealand, America, the UK, I can't remember the other countries. They all are going to implement it all at the same time. Crazy what's happening. Crazy. They don't want us to make profit. They want to keep you poor, because when you're poor, you have to go to work and work. Otherwise, you can't pay your bills, you can't eat. The more you work, the less you can think about politics and all these other things, to destabilize and Brexit and all that. They don't like it.
That means, Marius, we have to store our profits in a stable coin and silver and gold then somehow.
Exactly. Wendy, what was the other questions there?
Cal had a question: when to get out of Bitcoin and at what point? At what point?
Okay, Cal, very simple. We're going to have a look at the high point in Litecoin. When Litecoin hits between 107 and 120, in that range, we expect Bitcoin to be at about 15 or 16,000. I can tell you now that one of the big points, there's 2 points really that you want to get out of Bitcoin. You want to get out of Bitcoin when it reaches this next level here of about 15 to 16,000, somewhere there. You can either get out of there, but remember what's going to happen. We believe that it's going to drop, go up, then we're going to come and drop back here, go sideways a little bit, and we see a move up here to that figure there of 19,000. So you can get out of this level here, somewhere there. You can come back and buy on the bottom here, and then at 19,000, you want to get out again. So remember, just in general terms, these are your 2 exit points. And let's just mark them red. So now again, in your diary or in your trading book, I've got a red book with a lot of pages in it. I make a lot of notes. And you may want to make a note there, or on your Excel spreadsheet, whatever you use, that 15, 16,000 Bitcoin, and 19,666 for the high point for Bitcoin. At that point here, we drop back probably around about there. I'm just doing it freehand, so don't hold me to it. We try and break the 22,000 somewhere there. Similar to what I showed. Remember, I showed you this 3 or 4 months ago. We've just been delayed. This whole pattern is going to play out again. What's happening in the crypto world is everything is just slow. And guess what? You know, people can't handle it. Fear, anxiety, depression, fad. People get
Marius?
emotionally distraught and they just can't handle going sideways and just being patient. Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. So one of the webinars we were talking about Litecoin going, you know, to to around like 11 or 10 or 13,000, something like that. And essentially, you mentioned that would be maybe the end of Litecoin, or they were just going to rebrand. Do you see in your data what are the other coins that might be on the 4 digits that now it's relatively cheap?
You mean apart from the top 5?
Yes, like let's say Tezos that you just said that they might going to be raping the market. If that coin, for instance, would have a potential to be 4-digit coin or NEO or some other coins like that.
Yeah, what we do see is, remember NEO, that's still one of my favorites. NEO is going to go, in our opinion, it's going to hit about 850. And this is a coin that you really want to hold in your portfolio. We can also, BNB, believe it or not, everybody, most people don't even talk about BNB, but this coin, when this thing moves, it's going to move very fast. And you're going to see this hit $500 in no time. It's going to be so quick. Now, let me throw this question. Would you mind, Douglas, if we throw this question open to some of our members? Because I want to hear from our members. There's about 215 people here online. Surely there must be some people. Can you name 1, 2, or 3 coins that you guys have investigated and checked out that is worth for our members to have a look at?
I would say OMG might be one.
Link.
I'd say definitely Link, Verge, and Tezos.
Yeah, Link.
Yeah, Link is definitely one of the ones that you must have in your portfolio. We've got it in our portfolio. OMG short term. Remember, long term, I'm going to get rid of OMG. Remember, I've been saying that all along. We're going to get rid of OMG. As soon as it spikes now to the next spike, maybe the second spike, I'll still keep it, but it's not going to go as high as we thought it's going to go. Link is good. XVG, guys, yeah, it's okay, but remember the problem with the XVG. I don't want to go there, but people are just anti XVG a little bit.
The thing is, Marius, I'm not being funny, but when it comes to Verge, yeah, the system's going to push the world into an attention-based society, yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of that's going to relate to the the sex industry, I think. So I think Verge long term will do quite well.
Yeah, no, look, it will do well. Okay, XVG will do well, but if you can mentally and personally support something like that, then you're welcome to invest in it. For me personally, I can't.
No, I get that. I get that totally, yeah. Marius. I'm just saying, you can see where things are going. They're going to push the world so people earn their money for attention.
That's true. That's true.
Ways of doing things.
How about Veritasium?
Yes, guys. Veritasium and Populous. Don't disregard those. I mean, they are very important. That's a good comment. Thank you for that. Veritasium, Populous, guys, you must hold it. You know, that's why I hold a small percentage of it.
Also, ZRX and Tyrion.
Which one, Matt?
I said ZRX and Tyrion, and it's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ZRX, Ox.
VeChain's really looking good and got a lot of backing with the China government. That has had a huge bump this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, there we go. We've heard about Link, EOS, VeChain, and a few others. XVG.
GBT.
Marius.
Okay, GBT.
Could
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
What
can.
about Tron? Could you give us an update on TRX? I'm thinking
Yeah,
about getting
Christopher.
rid of that one for the reason I don't have XVG.
Yeah, Christopher, I just wanted to mention TRX as well. And remember last week somebody asked me that question and I said, wow, we never really supported TRX, but now I'm starting to turn. I just can't buy TRX, otherwise I would have, because we've already, you know, our portfolios are so big now.
TRX is a very dangerous coin.
Yeah,
So
and I remember
keep away.
AJ,
Keep away.
AJ, yeah, you've been talking about the danger in TRX now for months actually. So, yeah, so just be careful with TRX as well. But look, guys, in general, what I can say is from what we have done our research on, the top 5 coins is the coins that you should really make your portfolio the base. Those top 5 coins are Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Then you need to have Digibyte and XRP. Those, make that your base, and then use a percentage of your portfolio to invest in other coins like Link, TRX, EOS, NEO, whatever coin you like. Because remember, my percentage of my portfolio in PPT is only 1%. But when it rises, that percentage in terms of dollar value is going to be big. Although it's 1%, it looks little, but from that small amount, you're going to see it will just rise and rise and rise and rise, and then become 2, 3, 4, 5, 8% of my portfolio. So hold VeChain. That's good if you want to. The other one is Veritasium and PPT. Very good coins. Any other questions here, Wendy?
Hey, Marius, this is Todd. Hey, I came in late. I didn't realize because of the time change, we had changed the date or time to start. But going back to holding your money in the banks and being charged, one of my strategies was to open up an account at Caleb and Brown and have them actually pull funds off of the exchange. Do you know anything if they're going to be, you know, are they keeping their money separate and not in a bank, or are they going to be their own bank that we don't have to worry about that?
Yes, I've spoken to Caleb and Brown. I think I spoke to Jake, and I asked him that exact question. They use 2 banks. They use Westpac Bank here in Australia, and they use ANZ, Australia New Zealand Bank. So they use the banks to park your money. So unfortunately, they don't keep it themselves. They haven't got a bank license. But just remember this. The big investment companies won't necessarily pay a fee. They're only after the little guy, you and me, the blue-collar worker. That's where they're after. You'll have investment accounts, like business accounts. Of course, they're not going to charge you there, because then people will start doing other stuff to keep money somewhere else. They'll start trading with cash. Well, by the way, the government's actually stopping cash too. You know, from next year, you can't do any more trade. Anything more than $10,000 in Australia, you can't do it anymore. So they're clamping down on that too. But business accounts won't be liable for that. It's only when you park money in investments where the bank normally used to pay you 1 or 2%. Now they're going to charge you to do it. Wendy, what was the question you wanted to ask there?
Well, we got a lot of people. HBAR, PPT, Ethereum, Dara, Nicola, Dennis, John, AJ. The symbol saying atomic number 58. So there's a lot of questions. But everybody's just been chiming in. So I told everybody to speak up.
Hi, Marius.
Yeah,
Marius? Oh, I have a question in regards of the Karatbars prepaid MasterCard. So I know that you can buy gold with cryptos and deliver it to your home, but what is the purpose of the prepaid MasterCard? Because you can't load it with the gold that you bought with cryptos.
Mike, did you want to answer that question? I'm not sure if Mike is here. I saw you earlier, yeah. Look, in the past, we could use the debit card to load it up with gold. They just stopped that facility. they plan to bring it back again. I think it's got something to do with their license to be able to do it. And they're just working through some technical legal jargon, but it will come back where you will be able to load it up again. At this moment from memory, no, we can't do it either, Wendy. We can't, when we have gold, we can't move it over to the card, not anymore. I think that was stopped about 3 months ago.
Oh, that's why, because I've been trying to do it for a month and I couldn't, so I was like frustrated. But yeah, I was thinking about what is the main purpose of it.
Yeah, the company did announce that, and it will come back again. You just have to remember that all around the world, these the big governments and the big banks are really looking at Carrot Bars as a dangerous company for them, because they are going to change the way people can deal with money. Because remember this, what they are trying to do is to print a world currency that is a paper currency, and on that paper currency is 0.1 gram, worth about $6 or $7. Now, I will trade with that. If somebody wants to come and do, I will be able to sell my car. I'll sell my car if somebody wants to give me 20,000 of those KBC notes with 1 gram. Remember, they've got this little 0.1 gram printed on the paper note. It looks like a normal paper note. If I have $20,000 worth of those, I'll take it, because I can go and take it into a goldsmith. He can melt it and he'll have 2, 3, 5, 10, 100 grams of gold. And gold is rising in price. So your fiat currency is not rising in price. If you've got $20 in your pocket, in 5 months from now, it will still be $20. But the KBC dollar, the world currency they're trying to create, could go up in value. It may be worth $20 today. In 5 months from now, it may be worth $40. Where have you ever heard of a currency that can go up in value? So this is why they are scared, and they are trying to stop it. They'll do everything possible. Eventually, they're not going to be able to do it. So for those people that are, sorry, Ben, just one comment. For those people who have invested in KBC, it's not over yet. I tell you, it's going to go a lot higher. It's just very, very slow. So I still hold KBC, and I'm not buying more, but I'm holding it. Okay, next question.
Okay.
Hey, Marius, how are you?
Nicola speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Marius. Marius, I have a question. I am interested to know this period from now to the end of the leg 3. Are we gonna stay in the altcoins all the time, or we gonna move on the Bitcoin next year, 2020? And another question, is now great time to buy HBAR or Hedera Hashgraph, or we gonna wait after 2022?
With regard to Hedera Hashgraph, I would just wait a little bit. We've already bought Hedera Hashgraph. I wouldn't buy Hedera Hashgraph now. I would rather invest my money in the top 5 coins. Then your question about the fact, shall we hold Bitcoin or move into altcoins? Look, guys, spread your risk. When Bitcoin hit 10,500, I sold out of all my Bitcoin and I bought altcoins. I've just got new cash now that I'm placing on Bitcoin again, that if Bitcoin reaches 8.8 to 8.5, I'm buying a lot more Bitcoin again. So I wouldn't necessarily get rid of your Bitcoin yet, guys. You should wait with Bitcoin, run it up to 15 or 16,000, sell, farm, see if you can make extra Bitcoin. Your next level is 19,000, thereabout. When the 1,000% rise happens, when that starts, you want to move out of Bitcoin, but I don't believe it's the right time yet to move out of Bitcoin. But remember this, spread your risk. As I just showed on this webinar, we see an 85% rise perhaps in Bitcoin. And if you look at XRP, XRP can go up 157%, well and truly outperforming Bitcoin. So spread your risk, maybe 5, 10, 20% in Bitcoin and the rest in altcoins. However you want to set up your portfolio. In my case, okay, if you go back to this blog post here, remember this is blog post number 135. If you go right down to the bottom here somewhere, see here it is, this is update number 1. Update number 1 talks about this investment. Here we go. Bitcoin, less than 6%. This was the initial one before I sold. I've sold that now, and I remember I said at 10K, I will move 100% into alts. When it hit 10.5, I moved it over into alts. I've got those now placed on Litecoin, and I plan to buy Litecoin between 54 and 49, and some other coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, not necessarily Digibyte. As a matter of fact, Digibyte, this is actually dead money lying there. Digibyte. I can actually move that into, I don't know, something else. But you know, it's okay. I'll leave it there. I'm not going to touch that. And then I've got BNB. So go through this and you'll see what my portfolio is. Okay, so there's some other coins there as well.